Welcome to the Get It Done podcast, the podcast where I talk to business owners about their business, allowing them to share their business, allowing them to share their story and how they got to exactly where they are today. Um, the reasoning for the podcast, the inspiration from the podcast, my prayer for the podcast. Well, not my prayer, but the reasoning for the podcast is I get to talk to a lot of different people. And a lot of times people get to see what I'm doing, and they have desires to start businesses, but for whatever reason they're not starting it, um, because of simply the root of it is just simply because they're scared. It's fear. So the reasoning for the podcast, the prayer for the podcast is that something that is said, mentioned, some story that is shared, anything. Hopefully someone that is watching, someone that is listening, that has a desire to start not a podcast, start a business, but they're just scared to do it. So hopefully something that is said, that is shared, will inspire them to get up and do the thing. So I am talking to, it's episode 53, y'all. Like, what? But I am talking to basically people that I don't know. So out of the 53 episodes, I have probably only known about three or four of the people that I've interviewed. So I'm basically talking to strangers about what it is that they are doing. I just think it makes for a more interesting conversation. But I will go ahead and add, yes, Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Cinda.
Oh, Cinda, sorry.
Okay.
How are you?
Good, good.
Good. So I'll allow you to just introduce yourself and share your business.
Okay. I am Cinda Roffman. I have been a hypnotherapist for 15 years.
Nice.
I went to college and thought I wanted to be a child psychologist because I had kind of a rough upbringing and I thought I want to be out there helping other people who had a life like I did. But life got in the way. I ended up not going to graduate school. I ended up working as a legal secretary, which is about as far from psychology as you can get. I met my husband. I fell on him skiing, and
So
we
cute.
got married and had 3 kids, which I never thought I would have. And, here I am. I was 55 when I decided to go to hypnotherapy school. And my youngest child was a senior in high school. And I thought, great, now I get to do what I want to do. So I went back to school and I opened my practice. And I've been doing it ever since. And I just love it. It's so rewarding. It's so um, challenging sometimes. But I love seeing how my clients change before me. I
Yes.
have, like, I just had a woman come in last night who is taking a test tomorrow, and she came in 2 days before the test to have me help her get over her test anxiety. And
Nice.
by the time she left, she had completely changed her mindset. She was going to pass that test no matter what. And when she walked in, she was like, I'm probably going to lose my job. I'm probably
Oh,
going to not be able to work. Um, you know, and when she left, she was like, I can do this. So keep your fingers crossed that she does it tomorrow. But that's
so
the
I
kind of change I see in people.
nice. So out of all of the cases, do they all work, or how does hypnotherapy work? I'm not.
Okay. Well, um, do you want me to go into the whole detail? I actually have if I can share my screen, I have a whole explanation that takes about 4 minutes.
Okay, if you like, this is
Want to do
yours.
that? Can you see that?
I don't. I see your
Okay.
face. I see your cute little face.
I don't know how to screen share on StreamYard. Can you show me?
um, Girl, let me see.
Well, let
I
me
don't
just
know.
explain. Okay, I'll just explain. So
Okay.
basically, when we're talking to each other, we're in our conscious minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
conscious mind to conscious mind. But the amazing thing is, 90% of your brain is your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 90% of your brain that you're not using that's affecting what's going on. So let's say that, um, well, the example of my test taker that was having a hard time thinking she could pass the test, she was a English language learner. She moved here at 8 from Mexico, and she was immediately put into class and expected to take tests and do the best she could. Well, it was really hard for her, and it took her a couple of years to learn how to speak English. So she has a very strong history in her subconscious of failing at tests.
Yeah.
So we talked about it, and I reminded her that, because she had told me that when she decided she was going to be able to speak English, and then she just started speaking. I mean, she just did it.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. So that's the whole key to hypnotherapy. What you tell yourself is what comes to be.
Yeah.
When you started the podcast, did you say to yourself, well, maybe I'll do 5? I don't know. I'll really, really try and maybe I'll get 5. No, you just
No.
said, I'm going for it. I'm going to do as many as I can. I'm going to put myself out there, right?
I just said, God, use me in however you say you see fit, and here I am. So
And here
this is
you
His
are,
work.
number 54. Is that what I am? Number
Fif-
54?
53 in 2.5 months. Well, 3 months.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. And
Yeah.
if you hadn't said, God, do your thing, here I
Yeah.
am, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. True.
So it's all about what you expect to happen. It's all about what you want to have in your life.
Yeah.
And I hope that by the end of our session, my test taker really wanted to pass that test and
Nice.
realized all the things. She has a master's degree. I mean, she's not dumb. That's not the
Yeah.
problem. It was, being in that environment of taking the test and being afraid that
The
she might not
anxiety.
pass.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So, what I do with all of my clients is I gave her, we came up with it together, a set of affirmations. And I actually wrote a book called The Power in Affirmations, because I
nice.
think affirmations are so, so important. So while it's a book and it does talk about affirmations, the main thing in it is that it is a journal for my clients to write their affirmations and write what they're grateful for,
Nice.
because people who are grateful are happier.
Yes. Story
So,
of my life.
right. So I encourage my clients to be grateful. So every night they write their affirmations, they write what they're grateful for within 30 minutes of going to sleep, because we have access to our subconscious mind for 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night. So be careful what you do in those 30 minutes. Are you going to watch
Yes.
violent TV? Are you going to get in a fight with somebody? Are you going to watch negative things on the internet? What are you going to do with that time? So that's why I encourage my clients to read and write their affirmations at night and read them in the morning.
I love that. Um, 16 years in business. What are you most proud of? You said 16 years, right? I don't know.
Right, right. What
Yes.
am I most proud of? I think what I'm most proud of is sticking to it, because I opened my practice in '08, which was, one of those economic downturns. And I'm proud of the change that I've made in people's lives.
Nice.
Talking about test taking, I also had a client who was a resident, a medical resident. She'd gone all the way through college, medical school, and her residency, and she couldn't take tests to the point that she would throw up instead of
Goodness.
being able to sit in front of the computer and take her test.
Yes.
So I helped her get over that, and she's now a practicing physician in the
Nice.
next town over. So those are the
Nice.
kind of things. I mean, that's a real concrete one. You know, I've helped people be able to drive in the car with their husbands on a trip. I've helped moms be able to drive and take their kids to school where they couldn't do that before. So it's sometimes it's a big thing, but sometimes it's a little thing that's
The
just as
day-to-day things.
important.
Yeah.
That's just as
Uh,
important in people's lives.
nice. Do you have an ideal client?
Do I? Yes. An
Yes.
ideal client for me is someone who is open to change.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you said, you were open to what, God is going to do through you. I need
Yes.
someone who's okay saying, "My life isn't working. Can you help me make it better? What can I do to make it better?" That's the kind of
Nice.
client I'm looking for.
How do you find your clients?
Well, a lot come through the internet. I have a very high Google rating, and
Oh,
I pop up. I have a pretty robust website. I get some referrals. I do some networking. You know, I'm
yeah.
out there. Uh, my she's top of mind because I just saw her, my last client yesterday, the test taker. She works with an old friend of mine, and she said, I think I should do hypnotherapy to pass this test.
Oh,
And
and then she referred her.
and she referred her because she knew I was a hypnotherapist, and I haven't seen my friend for probably 5 years, but
Nice.
it's out there.
Yeah. I love that. Is there anything, I know it's been 16 years, but is there anything that you wish you had known before you got started in the field that would have possibly helped you in business?
Well, it is hard to get clients. I mean, I don't have as many clients as I would like to have. So, I didn't realize how hard it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so when I put my shingle out, when I opened my practice, I thought people would just, start coming.
Blow through
And
the door.
it's not quite like that.
It's a work for sure.
Yeah.
One question you would ask another business owner.
One question I ask another business owner: what do you do to get clients?
It's a good question.
And is there anything I can do to help you in your business? Because sometimes business owners come to me if they're stuck or if they want to be more successful. At uh, at a networking meeting I went to last month, I shared an affirmation, and I think I'm going to start doing that more because I think they appreciated it. And the affirmation I shared was, "I now release the gold mine within me."
Nice.
When you think
I
about
love
that,
that.
it's kind of cool.
But yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's a good. That's a good one. Um, do you have an email list?
Yep.
Do you add that? Do you add your affirmations on your email list?
Oh, you mean I send out affirmations to my email list? No, my email list I have a newsletter I send to them.
That's a good thing to add, like just a line or two, like when they first open it. To I just started my email list, and I am starting to um add word of the day. So whatever the word of the day is that comes to
Oh,
me, I'll
okay. Yeah,
add
that's a
that.
great
Just
idea.
yeah, just as like a opening, something that the first thing that they read.
Mhm.
And when you said your affirmation, I was like, oh, she could do that for her email list. Do you think it is important to build a personal brand outside of our business branding? How important, if you do or not?
By personal brand, do you mean like on social media?
Yeah, social media, um, most likely social media, but yeah, we can do personal branding, just being who we are out. If you do a lot of networking, then that could possibly be personal branding if it's outside of your work.
Well, it is outside of my work, but it's related to my work because when I'm networking, I'm always talking about my work.
Yeah,
And I think that, it's not a company, it's just me, like you. It's Erin, right?
right.
So my company is me and I am my company. So it's kind of all rolled in
There's
together.
no separation. Yeah.
Not really.
I can see that. So how old is your youngest now?
35.
35. So in about maybe 10 years or so, 10, 15 years, I don't know how long you have before you retire. But once you get to that phase, what will you tell your children about the journey? About when you first started, the middle, the end, like what will be that story be like?
Well, I think what I was saying before is that it's important to just stick to it.
Yeah.
And you never know really where things are going to go necessarily. Um, None of us planned for the pandemic that put all of
Yeah.
our work on Zoom.
Yeah. True.
And we just you don't always know what's going to happen, and you have to be able to roll with the punches. One of the newsletters I did was called Change is Constant, which I always thought I invented, but it turns out I didn't. It's been around since the times of the Greeks. And really, and I think that's really important that we keep that in mind in our businesses because we never know what's going to happen, but it's probably not going to be the same as it was yesterday.
Yeah. Is
So,
there oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, that's
That was it. Okay. Is there, because you mentioned that, so is there a time where you can share like a story where you felt like basically you were like your back was up against the wall, you didn't know what you were gonna do, concerning business and how that situation turned around for for your good. 16 years, we have a few of those days, I'm sure.
yeah. Um, One thing I learned was, and I could tell that you know this also because I got quite a few emails and texts about our talk tonight, which is perfect. I didn't used to do that with my clients, and I had a very high no-show rate, which is really
Mhm.
devastating as a new business owner. You get dressed, you go to work, you're at your office, and nobody shows.
Yeah.
So I started texting every client before their appointment, which is a little thing, but it makes a big difference.
Mhm. I agree. So majority of the text messages are set up on automation. And so when I first the booking link that I book clients through for the podcast is the same booking link that I use for as my esthetician
Mhm.
business. So I kind of I knew what it was before. So when I first got started being an esthetician, in the beginning, I had it set up where it would send the additional text
Mhm.
messages. And then they started charging. So once they started
Oh.
charging, I didn't sign up for the charging portion of it, which took away the text message, like the reminders to you guys. And then I noticed that I would get like no shows and I'm like, oh no, I need to so I end up signing up for it to pay for it. But yes, it makes a huge difference just
Mhm.
notifying the people because people forget. So if they don't have reminders, they just forget. They have lives. So yes, that's a huge game changer when booking clients and having people on a schedule. Um,
Mhm.
what would you say set you apart from other hypnotherapists in your field?
Well, a couple of things. Like I said, I have raised three children, and they all managed to make it to adulthood, which is good. Stayed out of jail, which is good.
Yes, safely.
Um, Safely, right. And so I think that I have that perspective in my background. And I did have a difficult childhood. My mother was bipolar, and my father was an alcoholic, and my
Wow.
mother medicated with alcohol. So for many, many years, we just thought they were both alcoholics until mother was actually diagnosed. But that was difficult. I couldn't bring kids home after school. I couldn't ever have sleepovers. Nobody was ever allowed to come over for dinner. It was all this hush, hush, quiet shame at home.
Yeah.
And so when people talk about, oh, my mother's bipolar, I go, oh, yeah, I know what that's like. Or, my parents were alcoholics, so I know what that's like. So, I've had a lot of life experiences in my long life because I'm not 25, obviously. And so, I can use that in my practice. So, and then I've also had counseling training. Before I became a hypnotherapist, I did a 2-year, once a week paraprofessional counseling program. So I
Nice.
learned about how to listen, how to give advice, how to, you know, really, really be an empathetic listener and ask the right questions. I think that's one of my other secret weapons. And
Nice.
sometimes I don't know where the questions come from. They just come out of the blue. But frequently they are the right questions. So that's, really good. And then I do have intuition, which I think probably helps with asking the right questions.
It does. um, so what would you say would be possibly, if you could come up with something really fast, would be the greatest lesson from being in business for 16 years?
Mm, I think just be authentic, be consistent, and keep working at it. You know,
Yes.
um, it doesn't come easy, but you know, when it comes, it's nice. And I love every day seeing working with my clients. My son told me when he was a senior in high school, when you, which is he's not, this is not a unique phrase to him, but he really took it to heart. When you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
It's so true.
It's so true. And I could be retired, I could be with my grandkids, I could be doing other stuff, I could be gardening, but I'd much rather be in my office helping people make a significant change in their lives.
Nice. So how do you feel about work-life balance? This term comes up quite often.
Well, I think it's a big deal. I think it's really important. Right now, I have my husband helping me with behind the scene things. Like he publishes the newsletter, puts it on my website, posts it to Facebook, posts it to LinkedIn, all of that. So that's helpful, and does all my finances. So that
Nice.
kind of helps with the work life balance because I'm working with my partner.
Yeah.
But I do take time for myself, especially after, a difficult day with a difficult set of clients. I'll, do my favorite thing, which is take a bubble bath
Oh,
or,
mine too. I love a good hot long bath.
right, or go for a walk, or, I'm all about getting outside in the fresh air, and I encourage my clients to do that too. If only for a few minutes a day, if they can't really, for some reason they can't really spend more time outside, at least a couple minutes a day. Get outside, get some vitamin D, notice what's around you. That's really important.
um, is there anything that you always wanted to do but you just haven't, either in business or personally?
Well, personally, I would say I want to travel a little bit more, but I'm enjoying my business a lot right now, so I'm really okay with that. I That's the nice thing about being in business for yourself, and that's why, I encourage people to do that because we can take time off whenever we want to, as
Yes.
you know. And I never tell my clients that I'm going on vacation. I tell them I'm not available. Now, I hope that they think, "Oh, she's really busy with clients." Because, I want them to think I'm busy with clients, but I'm not lying. I'm just saying I'm not available.
Yeah, which is
And
true. You're not.
which is true. Right. But I don't need them to know that, I probably travel a lot more than most people.
Do you have the option to do like Zoom? Is that I don't know, like
Mhm.
Zoom sessions?
Believe it or not, hypnotherapy works just fine over Zoom. In fact,
Yeah,
my husband and I went on a vacation last week, and I had a session in the hotel room.
yeah. That's the goal, is to be able to. Well, that was the kind of one of the ideas for the podcast, is that once I'm done giving facials all day, that I can just go wherever I want. I can travel the world and still work doing podcasts all day. Like,
Mhm,
so yes, I love that. I love the flexibility. I was just talking about this on my last podcast, but I love, that's one of my absolute favorite things in being in business, is the flexibility of it all.
mhm.
Is there one thing that you can think of that scares you in business?
Mm, not really.
No, me neither.
Not
What
really, no.
what are you, what are you grateful for today?
Oh boy, what am I grateful for today? That's a tough one. What am I grateful for today? I think I think today I'm grateful for the colleagues that I network with. We had a really great networking meeting this morning, and I really appreciate that everybody was there at 8 o'clock. Everybody shared, everybody was friendly, everybody, wanted to give to the other people. It was just a really nice, positive uh, atmosphere. And then we had a great speaker, who talked about what she does. And, it's just really nice to have that because, like you, when we work, we're working by ourselves with clients. So we don't have like the esthetician next door or the three that
Yeah,
you work with. You're by yourself.
there's
I'm
no
by myself.
coworkers.
There's no coworkers, right? So our networking groups are really our coworkers, and I do appreciate that. I really do.
Yes. Why was it difficult to answer? What made it difficult?
Well, I have a lot of positive things going on.
Okay.
You know, my car's in the shop, so I get to drive a brand new car. That was kind of fun, driving a brand new car.
Something
And
new.
then we were shopping, and at the shopping center, there are these pillars that have plants on them. And for like the last 6 months, they've been green. And all of a sudden, they went whoosh and are all covered in gorgeous flowers.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, wow, even though I don't know where you're in LA.
I'm in LA, yes.
Yeah, well, it's been kind of foggy out where I am these past
Where are
few
you?
days in Agora Hills.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been foggy here as well. Like, I
Right.
don't think we get sun. What's today? Thursday. We don't get sun until Saturday, if I remember correctly.
I heard Sunday.
Yeah, see, so
Yeah.
it's been,
So
and I
seeing
miss the
those
sun when it's
bright,
not here.
bright flowers, I was like, wow, spring's really here. Even though we can't see it, it's really here. So that was
we
fun.
get we get hints of it, so we'll get some
Yeah, that
sunshine
was
in a
my
few
hint.
days.
That was fun.
Yes. I just came from Vegas the other day, and it was super sunny, nice and warm. And then I get home and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's like not even sunny here. Do you think business has changed you at all? If so, how?
Oh, it's made me more outgoing, I think,
Yeah.
because I remember 15 years ago, I started a networking chapter. So I was the first person to give a 10-minute speech about their business to the group. And I was so nervous, I could hardly talk. And I think one of the other people thought I was going to pass out. And she brought me over a cup of water. But,
She like,
I
girl,
have to,
relax.
yeah. But now, I still don't love public speaking, but I do it when I have to. I'm
Yeah.
much more like this environment one on one.
Yeah. I am forcing myself by the end of this year to have one speaking engagement. Because I would like to get more into that as well. So I'm just preparing because I'm not really a nervous person, but I guess nerves at some point could start kicking in. But I'm just preparing my mind and my ideas for all of this stuff. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about all the new stuff. Um,
Couple things I would say about fear. Fear is not always bad. So we've kind of given fear a bad rap. And I think that fear can be good because what it says to us is, Erin, you're doing something different. You need to be prepared, right? So you are being prepared. You are working on your speech or what you're going to say. But I don't think we have to be over fearful. I think it's important to have a little bit of fear so you're prepared.
it shouldn't
And
stop us from doing the thing.
right. And
Yeah.
I would encourage you to make an affirmation. My favorite is I love speaking in public.
Right? I need to just repeat it over but I don't really because college was every single class we have to get up and talk, so I don't really have that. Um but in front of a huge audience. So I need to say something like I love talking to huge audiences and I'm so
Exactly.
excited or
Yep.
something like that. I
Yeah.
gotta sit and write it down. And then, yes, every day after I read my Bible, I need to go to my notebook and read that stuff.
Mhm.
What would you say motivates you? 16 years, you have to have great motivation.
Well, like I was saying before, I just love seeing how people change when I work with them, and
Yeah,
I don't mind getting paid for it.
yeah.
In the beginning, I was like, "Oh, this is so much fun. I just love doing it," and I would forget to ask people to pay me. But
Ah!
yeah, but that didn't last very long because I had rent to pay, so I needed money.
Right.
But,
How funny.
I do really, really love what I do.
Yeah, so do I.
And
And then,
like
go ahead.
if I have a client who is, say, a student, or I have a client who is in the writer's strike, I can give them a discount because it's
Yeah,
my business. I can do what I
yeah,
want.
yeah.
So I usually do, try and help people out when I can.
Nice. So do you have a huge returning rate or is it always they always have to be new clients or how's that work?
Well, most of my clients see me for 3 to 10 sessions,
Okay.
and then they're good to go.
Nice.
And then some of them call me like a year later, 2 years
Or
later, three
something
years
else.
later,
Oh yeah.
and say, you really helped me with X, but now I have Y. So
Yeah.
let's work on that. And
Nice.
that's great because
Yeah.
we've already worked together. We've already established rapport.
They're
They know
comfortable.
what it's all about. It's great.
Yeah. I love that. One thing that you would say you're just absolutely unbeatable at.
Oh boy. I would say finding the correct affirmations for each person
Nice. That's a good
because
one.
they're always special for that person. And, when my clients come to me, they go, I can't write an affirmation. What am I going to do? I said, you don't have to write the affirmation. We'll come up with it together. We can do this. And we do. Sometimes they have three, sometimes they have five, sometimes they have eight. It just depends on what's going on and what they want to be working on.
I love that. Well, Cinda, it has been a great pleasure speaking to you, hearing about your business. Is there anything that we did not cover that you would like to share? Any questions, comments, anything?
No, I think you're a great interviewer. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you. One last question. So the
Okay.
reasoning, I forgot the reasoning for the podcast, the inspiration. I know you heard the intro, but the inspiration from the podcast is because um, I get to talk to so many people. A lot of times they have ideas and dreams of starting businesses. Is there anything that you would say to the girl or to the guy that could possibly inspire them to just get it done?
I would say you can do it.
That's a good one.
You can do it.
You got it. Well, thank you again, Cinda. I will be sending you all the links to
Great. Thank you.
the visual and the audio once everything is done.
Okay,
But
great.
thank you
Thank you.
again for being here, and you have a nice evening.
Okay, thanks, Erin. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye. Episode 53. Like, how the time is just flying. I am again super inspired by all of the business owners that I get to talk to, their story. 16 years she's been in business, and she still loves it. That was when I first got started. That was one of my prayers, that um, I always have a desire to work in this field, because for me, I'm a girl that I'll get bored and I'm like, okay, it's time to move on. So I still love my work, but I have not been in the game for 16 years. um, if you are a business owner that would like to share your story, I would love to hear from you. I would love to have you on to share your story. If you are a male business owner, where are you? Like, out of 53 episodes, I've talked to two men. Where are the guys? The ladies are killing it. So I'm so very proud of all the women and what they're doing, and I'm enjoying talking to them. But we're the men. I want to talk to some men. Um, don't forget to thank God for your blessings. Don't forget to say your prayers. Don't forget to take care of your skin. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to do all the things on whatever platform you are watching or listening to this on. I will be back next week. So today was the end of this week. Talk to you later. Bye.